So, the movie kicks off in ancient Rome. There's this architect, Lucius, who's having a tough time coming up with fresh ideas and is also dealing with some financial issues. Clients keep rejecting every idea he has, believing his innovations are old-fashioned. One afternoon, Lucius' friend takes him to a public bathhouse to relax. Lucius feels it's the worst spot to unwind because it's packed with loud, naked folks. Feeling overwhelmed by everything around him, he dives underwater and hangs out there for a bit. Out of nowhere, he spots a little whirlpool starting to form on the other side of the tub. He goes to check it out, but a strong current pulls him in. In just a few seconds, Lucius finds himself in a tunnel-like space, gasping for air. He gives it his all to reach the surface and finally makes it. But to his surprise, he's no longer in a Roman bathhouse. So he's in this modern Japanese bathhouse, and all these old men are totally shocked to see him standing there naked. The architect has somehow made their way to modern-day Japan through time travel. Lucius, having never encountered anyone with Mongolian features, thinks the men belong to a flat-faced tribe. Once he gets over the shock, Lucius realizes this place is way more advanced than any bathhouse he's ever come across. The baskets, taps, and massaging device totally blow his mind, and he can't help but wish he had thought of these cool innovations sooner. He accidentally walks into the women's changing room and gets knocked out by a screaming old lady. Next, we meet a struggling manga artist named Mami. Seeing him sparks an idea for a new character, so she begins sketching his portrait. After some time, Lucius wakes up and gets a bottle of flavored milk. He's once again puzzled by how sweet and cold it tastes. It's so good that it makes him pass out again for a second time. When he wakes up, he's back in Rome, with a bunch of guys around him. I heard he drowned in the tub and was found just a few minutes ago. At first, Lucius believes his meeting with the flat-faced tribe was just a dream, a pretty racist one at that. Then, he spots the empty milk bottle next to him. Fast forward 2 months later. Lucius shared his renovation idea with the bathhouse owner and made it more advanced. People really admire his creativity, and he earns quite a bit from it. Now, they're using baskets, massage booths, and even sweet milk to make their bathhouse experience even better. An old man, while in the tub, thinks about how nice it would be to have a bathhouse at home. While Lucius is pondering how to make that happen, he gets swept away again and finds himself in a bathtub in the 21st century. A guy walks in and asks Lucius for a hand with his bath. Lucius is a bit puzzled, but he follows instructions and discovers a bunch of handy tools, like the shower head and the shower hat. Funny enough, the house is Mami's, and she discovers Lucius lying on the floor. She rushes to grab her sketchbook, but by the time she gets back, he's already gone. In Rome, Lucius builds a bathtub for the old man and makes a good amount of money. He finally has enough to make his wife good meals, but she's still not happy. She really wants to have a baby and keeps saying that Lucius is always busy with work. They start arguing, and it wraps up with her cursing him and walking off in a huff. A few days later, a messenger from the emperor, Hadrianus, approaches Lucius. People say the man is pretty cruel, with rumors flying around that he took out the cabinet members who didn't agree with him. With all the buzz about Lucius' inventions, even the emperor is starting to pay attention to him. When I met Lucius, he shared that he loves art, and it's obvious that what he's done with the public bathhouse is a true expression of that passion. The emperor, impressed by his work, wants him to prepare a personal bath for himself. He insists it has to be unique, creative, and unlike anything that's been done before. Lucius takes on the challenge and is determined to impress the emperor. All night, he wanders the town searching for ideas for an amazing bathhouse, but comes up empty. He's feeling embarrassed because he thinks all his ideas are just copies and he doesn't deserve any credit for them. Out of nowhere, he tumbles into a ditch and vanishes. A scene from current times features Mami at a bathroom supply store. Her manga artist career isn't going great, so she's picked up a side job. But even then, she's having a hard time staying awake at work. One afternoon, she accidentally leaves the water running and fills the tub all the way up. Out of nowhere, Lucius pops up in the tub, breathing all crazy-like. He halts when he notices the tub bubbling by itself. The shop manager heads off to complain about the odd guy, leaving Mami and Lucius some time to chat. Lucius asks her for a tour of the place and gives her a coin. Even though Mami can't grasp his words, she definitely gets the vibe of cold hard cash, and she takes him on a little tour. Lucius can't take his eyes off the urinals and believes that printed toilet paper holds the key to the flat-faced tribe's success. I really wish I didn't have to keep talking about that term. What really fascinates him the most is a bidet. When he's on it, it feels like he's in heaven. He takes inspiration from everything around him, heads back to Rome, and creates the ultimate bathhouse for the emperor. It has a toilet that keeps the water flowing to clean up, a tub with bubbles created by slaves blowing into a pipe, a glowing aquarium, and some nice scented candles. He goes above and beyond what the emperor expected and receives a special necklace featuring a unique sculpture of dog legs and human genitals. Lucius rushes home to share his big news with his wife, only to discover her in an intimate moment with his best friend. Mammy comes back to her small hometown after struggling to come up with good manga ideas and getting let go from her side jobs. She begins her job at a local bathhouse while diving into ancient Roman history. She's really curious about the coin Lucius gave her and his sudden disappearance. She wants to find out if he's actually someone from the past. Back in Rome, Lucius just can't find the will to go on after his wife left him for his best friend. One day, a messenger comes up to him, looking really worried about the emperor. The emperor recently lost his son and now believes that a crocodile is his reincarnation. He wants Lucius to create a space where the crocodile can be kept and all its needs are taken care of. Lucius really needs to watch his step with this one. If the animal doesn't make it, he's going to take all the heat and end up labeled a national criminal. After that, Lucius heads back to the emperor's bathhouse to see about the water flow as requested. But when he steps into the tub, he gets pulled into the future for the third time. He steps outside and realizes he's trapped in a cage with crocodiles. So, it looks like he's at a crocodile sanctuary. Mammy's at the sanctuary too, but she's on a date with someone she doesn't really like. She does her best to shake off the guy and feels happy when she spots Lucius in the cage. She takes him out and gives him a tour of the sanctuary, completely forgetting about her date. Lucius figures out how to properly care for crocodiles and where they like to live. Mammy takes him to learn archery to find out if he's truly a Roman man. He nails every target, proving her right. After some time, he finds himself in a hot spring that brings him back to his era. A few months later, the emperor finds the ideal spot to raise his crocodile son. He's even begun treating Lucius like family, inviting him to the palace a lot. Everything's going smoothly in the city, but then one day, the emperor hears about the rebels planning to attack his troops. They're really unhappy with his rule and want to get rid of him no matter what. The emperor's soldiers and the rebels engage in a tough battle that lasts over a year. The emperor has gotten older and is now ready to step down. He's thinking about passing the throne to his nephew, Sionius. Sionius is kicking off his reign by building a new bathhouse to win over the people. So, the emperor wants Lucius to lend a hand to his nephew with the project. Lucius has a problem here since his principles clash with Sionius, who is pretty arrogant and proud. Lucius realizes that if he takes the throne as emperor, the downfall of the Roman Empire is bound to happen. So, after thinking it over, he heads to Sionius and tells him he won't work for him. Sionius points out that going against the emperor is considered treason, which could lead to a death sentence. But Lucius is sticking to his guns. He approaches a fellow architect and pleads with him to take on the project. The man is really angry at Lucius for causing his financial troubles. They end up in a fight, and Lucius gets shoved against a wall. In the next scene, he's back with the flat-faced tribe. He's hurt, but they're looking after him like he's one of their own. They take him to a hot spring so he can relax and heal up. They say that if someone takes a dip in the spring water, they can heal fast. They also give him some fermented alcohol that really burns his throat. So, Lucius runs into Mammy, and she's picked up some basic Latin. She asks him his name, but Lucius is so drunk that he ends up falling on her, and they both drown in the lake. They wake up in Rome. Mammy is shocked to learn that Lucius is facing execution for not following the emperor's order. She's worried and tries to convince him to take the project, but it doesn't work out. Lucius heads out with his bags, trying to escape for his life. So, over in Japan, a bunch of old guys are searching for Mammy when they end up falling into the lake. Just like Lucius, they get caught in a whirlpool and end up in the past. Lucius is heading to another city when he stumbles upon a natural hot spring on a hill. He thinks back to how the tribe treated him and sees that the spring could help the emperor's injured soldiers. He hurries over to Mammy to share his idea, and she's on board with it. After that, Lucius heads over to the emperor and shares the vision with him. He says that Antonius told him to make the spring. Antonius is another potential heir to the throne, and he's definitely more eligible than Sionius. So, Lucius wants to improve his image in the emperor's eyes. Once they got the green light to start the spring, Lucius, Mammy, and the tribe jumped right in. They'll build the first hut in the next few hours. Slowly, more houses are popping up around the spring, becoming a spot for the soldiers to rest. The tribe looks after the wounded and helps them bounce back fast. They use what they know about modern medicine to make it happen. A few months later, the soldiers beat the rebels in battle. They celebrate with drinks and dancing. Lucius and Mammy are sitting together, having a long chat in private. Over time, they've developed feelings for each other while working together. Lucius is feeling happier than he ever has before. That is, until the tribe just vanishes. Mammy starts to disappear right before his eyes. But before she goes, he mentions that there are a few paths that lead back to Rome. The emperor appoints Antonius as his advisor in this scene. Lucius gets recognized in front of everyone for his bravery in battle. Everyone agrees that they wouldn't have one without him. So, Mammy's kicked off a new life in the future. One day, she's strolling through the city when she spots Lucius emerging from a pond.